introducing themselves. I'm going to go ahead and get us started for today because, as I know, we always have a full agenda with Book Creator. So hi, everybody. My name is Jenna Nilo. I am the Director of Marketing and Outreach for Illinois Digital Educators Alliance. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got people from all over. I just saw somebody from Brazil pop through, so that's pretty cool. So more than just Illinois, we do offer these resources to educators all over the country, all over the world. So we're glad that you guys have found us and taken advantage of this awesome free webinar today. Before I turn things over to John and Catherine with Book Creator, just let me go over a few housekeeping items. I know we've had some good discussion already today, but if you don't mind keeping yourself muted and turning your camera off, then the spotlight will go to John and Catherine. We are recording this, so it will kind of keep them in the spotlight then on the recording as well as they go through and share all of their great tips and tricks. But we do welcome interaction, so as you've been using that chat window already, please continue to use that chat window. John and Catherine are awesome about keeping an eye on that and answering questions. I'm also going to be keeping an eye on that. And if something flies through the chat feed and is missed, I will interrupt John and Catherine and make sure that we get that answered. As always, we will also have time at the end for more Q&A as well. So please keep things going in the chat. We do appreciate that. I will be sending out the recording as well as the chat file, and then the link to their presentation. I usually get those out about tomorrow morning, so keep an eye out for that email. It will go to everybody who registered for today's webinar, and then you'll have access to all of those items, and you can share those with colleagues and all that good stuff. You also saw I already posted the Wednesday webinar link from our website. All of our webinars are always housed on that page, so if you ever want to go back and review, as I said, if you want to go back and review some of the beginner Book Creator ones that we've done with Book Creator in the past, as well as any of the other webinars, they're always there and you can always find them there, so please feel free to access that. I'll post that link again at the end today. And then speaking of the end, at the end of today's session, if you are looking for PDH credit, Illinois educators, we do offer 1 PDH for your live attendance today. I will be posting that in the chat window at the end of the session. If you are not an Illinois educator, I sounded like Gary Brooks there for a second. But if you are not an Illinois educator, then and you're just looking for completion, credit completion, then also please go ahead, fill out the Google form that I put in there, and then we will send you the evidence of completion as well. I think that's it. So without further ado, I welcome one of our very fun partners, Book Creator, John and Catherine. I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to turn my video off so that you guys have the spotlight, and thanks so much for being here today.
Don't turn your videos off just yet. And for those of you that are shy, turn your videos on for a quick second. Right? Just
like
turn
we're back.
on a quick second. And you can keep yourselves muted. For those of you that know me, and for those of you that have been part of a John Smith and Catherine webinar before, you know exactly where this is headed. For those of you that don't, you're like, what is he doing? All right, so I'm on a mission. All right, I am on a mission to beat Ellen DeGeneres at her own game. All right, so 4 years ago, about 4 years ago, believe it or not, Ellen DeGeneres took a group selfie at the Academy Awards. Who remembers that? Hands up if you remember that. Yeah, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, right? I was so angry that she took this group selfie. And you know what made me even more angry was that she got 2.5 million retweets of that selfie in minutes, right? Minutes. But my anger quickly turned into determination. And I was determined to beat Ellen at the selfie game. All right, so for every workshop, every training, every webinar, every keynote, every conference talk, every booth I've been in for the last 4 years has involved a group selfie. So we are gonna take a group selfie. All right, so a couple of you, there's multiple screens here and I have no idea who's on what screen. So you just gotta smile for like 10 seconds, all right? And I'm gonna flip the camera around. We're gonna get me in the picture and we're gonna try to get the cow in the background there. Yep, there he is. All right, you ready? 1, this is screen 1, which means nothing, so just keep smiling. All right, there's one. Let me go to screen 2. Here's screen 2. All right, here we go. Screen 3. Here we go, screen 3. And screen 4. This is the last one. Okay. Awesome. Now you can turn your videos off. All right. That was
John,
it.
I can honestly say, as many as I've done with you, we have never done that once. It was a surprise.
Well, you know why? It's because this one's set up as a meeting, I think. In the webinars, I can't get everybody on video. So what? Doesn't matter.
There you go.
Doesn't matter. All right, so everybody, you can turn your videos off now. You can turn off your microphones for now. If you have questions, you can ask us at any point. We'll be happy to answer those questions. I know we're all at home. We got weird things going on. My wife's out on a run. I've got 3 kids. So like, I wish I had a mute button for them, but I can't, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, I'm on a mission to beat Ellen, and I have gotten close. All right, and I think today might be the day that we actually beat her. Now, she's actually done 3.5 million retweets of that selfie. I've gotten very close. Today's the day. I've had 7. So y'all look like a bunch of tweeters. So today is going to be it. I can feel it. We're going to beat her. Now, one of 2 things is going to happen. She's either going to invite me on the show, or she's going to send me a cease and desist order. And I don't care which one, because both of them mean I made it. All right. So we're going to be good. All right, enough of that. Now it's time to get down to business. All right, so welcome to our webinar today. And let me get past this. And so again, today we're going to talk about the book creator you never knew. All right, and so I know that we already mentioned this a little bit. If you're totally new to book creator, then we have other webinars that you can check out. The link was put into the chat window, so definitely take a look at those. But we have other webinars that we do as well, so you're always invited to those. Some of you we've seen multiple times this week, so we appreciate that. We love having our repeat customers come back. So please, you know, hopefully you're enjoying this and will enjoy it again, so you can come back again. And Catherine did put a link in there to other webinars as well. All right, so before we get into everything today, Catherine, why don't we tell them who we are? So Catherine, go ahead.
Yes, real quick, I will be in the background. This is going to be, John's going to be doing his thing, but I'll be answering any questions that you have in the background. My name's Catherine Cappiello. I am here right in Illinois. I used to teach in Chicago. I am a former teacher, just like I said. I've taught kinder all the way through high school. I am on the school partnerships team, so I work with a lot of different districts right here in Illinois and throughout the United States. You can follow me at bookcreator_cat. Also shoot me an email, catherine@bookcreator.com, if you need any assistance with implementing Book Creator into your curriculum, or if your school is looking at different ways as well. Really happy to be here.
All right, and I'm John Smith, Teacher Success Manager here at Book Creator. I am the iPod teacher on Twitter, so if you want to help me smash Ellen's record, that's where we're going to be posting these images here in a little bit. And I'm John Smith at bookcreator.com. I taught special ed for 12 years. I was a technology integration specialist for 7 years. And now as the Teacher Success Manager, my goal, my job, everything I'm about here is helping teachers implement Book Creator into their classrooms. So webinars, trainings, I used to go to schools and visit schools when we were allowed to do that, right? Conferences, all those good things. And again, basically just here to help out and make sure that everybody gets a good understanding of Book Creator. All right, so today, I'm married, I've got 3 kids, and I love golf and cleaning cars. So I'm in Ohio. It's just a quick 7-hour drive or so for me. But if you want to come over this way, I'll be happy to wash your cars. All right, so I love cleaning cars, and I think that's it. Okay, cool. So today's agenda, like we mentioned, we're going to talk about some hidden tips and tricks, maybe some hidden features inside of Book Creator that people don't necessarily know about, and kind of give you some ideas on how to use those tools as well. Again, this is not a getting started with Book Creator webinar. We're not going to go into every feature deep dive, but there are videos and future webinars where you can sign up for that kind of stuff. All right, so we're going to, that's the page we already did. So let's take a deep dive at the secrets, all right, within book creator. So the first one that I want to share isn't necessarily a secret, but it might be. It's a new feature. So when you go to your teacher dashboard, all right, so if you're not sure where that's at, if you're in a library and you click on these 3 lines to the top left, that will take you to your teacher dashboard. This is where your books and libraries live. But I want to share a couple of things with you here that are really, really important. First off, when I click on the resources tab, we have tons of resources by grade level, by subject. We've got a bunch of great books by our ambassadors. But what I want you to look at is if you keep scrolling all the way down toward the bottom, past the Facebook group, past the free webinars, past the getting started documents, down here at the bottom, there is a button that says become a certified author, and then it says view the course. So if you click on this, view the course, you will then get a new tab that gets added to the top here that says certification. And what you are greeted with is a big old mugshot of John Smith, followed by 14 videos giving you a deep dive into all of Book Creator's features. Watch the videos, take the quiz, takes about 1 hour and 15 minutes, maybe at most, pass the quiz, and then you become a Book Creator certified author, and you get a very special badge. Looks like this. You can download it, put it on your email, Twitter handle, whatever you want to do. Check out the Book Creator Certified Authors program because it's really awesome. And I got Bridget just posted in here to everyone. She finished hers today or yesterday. Totally worth it. Awesome. Thank you, Bridget. We've had this out for a few weeks now, and I think we've had, I don't know, over 2,000 or so teachers that have completed this program already. So definitely cool, and hopefully you can take that that information, send it to your administrators and say, look, I finished an hour, can I get some credit for this or something? All right, so anyway, I think it's really cool. Cheryl, thank you as well. So that is our Book Creator Certified Authors program. Another thing from the teacher dashboard that sometimes gets a little bit overlooked is this little box up here to the top right. And this box is where your archived libraries live. So if you've finished a library, right, if you click on the 3 dots and you get rid of the library because you don't want it anymore, those archived libraries live in this box up here. And you can just click on the little arrow and you can actually restore the entire library, or if you want, you can click on individual books and copy those books into your My Books section. And then once they're there, you can move them some other places. All right, so that's definitely something that sometimes gets overlooked. Okay, the other setting that I want to share with people is right here to the top right. When you're inside your library, there's a little gear icon here. And if you click on that gear icon, there are some toggle switches that you can turn on or off. And again, some people don't necessarily know those are there, but I wanted to talk a little bit about these. So you could turn on or off Google image search because you know, some teachers are like, I don't want kids looking through Google. I want them to make their own pictures or take their own pictures. That's fine. If you don't want them using Google, they can turn this off. This one surprised me the very first time I saw this. Students can edit their own books. Of course, right? Why would I want them not to edit their own books? All right, well, let's say that the paper or the book, the assignment is due on Friday. If I turn this off, then on Saturday, when I'm going to grade things, the students cannot go in and change them. All right, so definitely think about that. Students can read each other's books. That's always a good one, right? Do I want students to see the other student work in the library? If so, leave it on. If not, turn it off. And then we also have students enabling collaboration. This is a newer button. And what this does is it allows the student to turn on collaboration for their own book. So if this is turned on, the teacher doesn't have to do collaboration at all, but the student can turn on collaboration for their book. So if you've got like a kid who's like, oh, you know what, I don't want to do this work, I'm going to turn on collaboration and let John do it for me, it can be done, right? So you just got to be careful. Some teachers, again, are okay with it. Some teachers are a little worried about that. And then the last one is students can publish their own books online. So again, same thing. Without the teacher's knowledge or assistance, students can publish their own books. You can turn that on or off, okay? So those are some settings from inside your library that I wanted to bring up. All right, now let's actually get in here and let's do some cool stuff here inside of Book Creator. And you know what? I just messed up. I realized I have a totally blank. Here we go. Now I've got a blank page. All right. So inside of Book Creator, I want to talk about shapes first. All right. And a lot of times with shapes, this is what I would do. I would just click on a shape, plop it onto my page, and I would see a shape. All right, and if I click the inspector, there are some things I can do with the shapes, change the color, shadow, border, all that kind of stuff. But I was in a webinar, and it's sad that I have to admit this, but I was in a webinar not too long ago, and by Monica Burns, and she was showing Book Creator. And one of the things that she had in one of her pages was a Venn diagram. And I was watching and I was like, how does she get that Venn diagram in there, right? Because I've tried, right? So I'll click on a shape, I'll copy it, paste it. Now I've got something that kind of looks like a Venn diagram, but not quite. I even went in here and changed the color of one of these shapes. And now it's starting to look more like a MasterCard logo, right? Instead of like a Venn diagram. And I was just kind of not real happy with the whole Venn diagram thing. And I didn't quite figure out what she was doing. Well, let me show you what she did. So if I have this shape and I click the inspector and I click on color, for me, I have always focused on these colors. And I've always seen this one that said none, but I never really understood what it did and I just kind of ignored it. Well, I'm gonna click none. All right, now my shape is gone, right? Everybody's like, well, where did it go? Well, it's not gone, it's there, it just doesn't have any color to it. So what I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to click on this button that says border. I'm going to turn on the border, and I'm going to change that border color to red. And then I can change the border width. All right, and I'm all set. And so now I've got my circle with an invisible inside and a border. And let me show you what that looks like if I drag it off the page. Now I have no background behind this shape. So if I copy the shape and paste it, now I have a Venn diagram. And so I can then have my students add some text inside here to explain the differences and the similarities between whatever it is that I'm talking about. So again, I'm not sure why I never knew this, but I thought this was really cool, right? I thought this was super fantastic and a great way to embed content. You could also turn this and turn them into like picture frames, right? You can do some really cool things like, outlining shapes and other things. So I really wanted to share that with you, the whole Venn diagram, the non-colored background of a shape, right? I thought that was pretty slick. Okay. The next thing that I wanted to share with you, and feel free to like put into the chat window, woo-woo, or aha, or yes, that's awesome. And if you're not impressed yet, then don't worry, we'll keep on going. Okay, the next button that I wanted to share with you, or the next tip and trick, or some cool things that people don't necessarily know about, is the plus button, media and import. All right, and under the import, we've got the very first one here, and that is your Google image search. All right, and again, I know a lot of you are probably like, all right, John, I've seen the Google image search before. I type in dog, I hit search, and I find the image that I want. Done, right? Well, that's true. What some people don't realize is that these images are Google Safe Search. They are all labeled for commercial reuse with modification, and they are all labeled as non-attribution. So these are about the safest images that you can get. The other thing that you'll notice here, or maybe you haven't noticed, is this little drop down right here. So instead of searching dog and just scrolling through and trying to figure out what I want, right? We'll go with this guy here. I hit select, it gets added to my page. This is the one thing that drives me crazy. All right, so I've got this really nice, let's put a comic background here behind the dog. All right, so I've got this really cool comic background, but then I just have this rectangle, right? Bleh. All right, just kind of visually doesn't look very good on the page. But if I go back to my import and I click on dog and search, to the left, right underneath the Google word, is a drop down. If I click on that, I can change Do I want faces of dogs? Do I want photos? Do I want clip art, line drawings? So I'm going to say clip art. All right, and here's why. I'm going to find a dog that I like. We'll go with this one. And I hit select. And because we chose clip art, and this works, I would say 96% of the time, because we chose clip art, there's no background behind the dog. And so now I can enjoy the dog image, but also the full background behind it. So you see the difference between just this blah rectangle and this really cool backgroundless dog. All right, so I really enjoy being able to look up clip art, or being able to find things that don't have backgrounds. Okay, I think that makes it a lot better. All right, and I got a couple of you saying, I wondered what that was for. That's really awesome. All right, another thing that we can do with this image, all right, now that we have an image on our page, another thing that I want you all to think about is using these images as like different than just normal images, okay? So if I click on the image and hit the inspector, one of the things that you can do is hyperlink your image to a website. So when somebody is reading your book online, they click on the dog, it takes them to a website. Another thing you can do is hyperlink it to a page, a specific page. So now when I'm reading my book and I click on the dog, it will take me to page 4. I think this would be really cool for students who might want to do choose your own adventure stories, visual table of contents, different things like that. If you've got any student who is just sitting there and just like, I need more, I need more, I need more, right? You can never keep them happy. Have them make a choose your own adventure story, because it's like a factor tree on steroids when you set it all up. And these kids will eat that up, and it will take them some time, right, to get that all figured out. So definitely check out the whole, the idea of making a choose your own adventure story. All right, let me go back to a plain page here. Okay, so those are some of the things with images. I want to show you another cool trick with images that I also was not aware of, and again, I'm ashamed to admit this. Sometimes students will go to Google instead of the search bar inside of Book Creator, right? They'll go look for images that are not copyright free, all right? And so I'm going to search for a Mustang GT500 because it's a car I really, really want. Now, this has always been the process for me. I will click on the image, I see the image here, and then what I usually do is I'll just take my browser, shove it over to the side, and then drag the image to my desktop. Okay, then I go back to my Book Creator, then I either click the plus button, media, import, files, and find my Mustang image, right, and drag it or click on it and then add it to my page. All right, so that's one process. It takes a little bit of time. Another process that you could use is to just, once it's on your desktop, shove your browser over a little bit, drag the image directly onto the page, okay? So that saves a couple of steps. But my new favorite way of getting images from a website into Book Creator is as follows. Once I do my image search, I see the image that I want. I'm going to click and drag this image all the way over to my Book Creator tab and then straight onto my page. And then it automatically puts it in there. I don't have to save it to my desktop. I don't have to drag it from a desktop into my book. I can just drag it from the site over the tab and then down onto the page. And when I saw that, I was just like, wow, this is gonna save tons and tons of time. And I was shocked, all right, that happened. So I really, really thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, I see some amazings, some things like that going on in the chat window. So that one surprised me. Again, always shocked that I learned something new, even after working for Book Creator, right? Using Book Creator for as many years as I have, I've always found something pretty new. All right, so yep, definitely cool. And that does work with Bitmojis. Now, so Lauren brings up Bitmoji. So I want to make sure I talk about Bitmojis here for a second. There's two ways to do Bitmojis, and I found one of them to be clunky and one of them to be really good. So a lot of times people have Bitmojis on their phones, all right? If you save a Bitmoji on your phone, send it to your computer somehow, and then put it into your book, that Bitmoji will have a background, which we don't want, right? If you download the Chrome extension, all right, there is a Bitmoji Chrome extension here. I sign in with my Bitmoji account. Now I can just drag the Bitmoji from my extension into the book, and now I have my Bitmojis into the book. They do not have a background, right, which makes them even way cooler, and now I can have some cool Bitmojis in there. All right, so I'm glad you brought up the Bitmoji process or thought, right, because Bitmojis are great. But if you save them from your phone and import them, then they'll have a background. Not so great, okay? All right, so those are some of the image tricks that I wanted to share with you. All right, the next thing, plus button, media, import. Under the import button, there's a button that says embed. Now, the embed feature allows you to take content from other sites and put it directly into Book Creator. So the easiest way to demonstrate this is to go to YouTube. So if I go to YouTube, find a video that I want. All right, we'll go with this guy right here. This nice new Corvette. Click on pause so we don't have to listen to her. All right, so we listen to her talking about, so it looks like a bar of soap, right? We don't want to listen to the ad. So underneath the video, there's a share button. I click on share, and then I see this button that says embed. If I click on the embed button, copy this code, which means absolutely nothing to me, but I'm going to copy that code, and I'm going to go back to my book and paste that code right here. I confirm the link. I see the video, see the link, see the title, and say add to book. That video is added directly to the book. Now some of you are like, no, okay, right? Not impressed yet. Well, guess what? Watch what happens when I click play.
What's up, everybody?
The video starts automatically. No commercials at the beginning, no commercials at the end, no comments underneath, and none of that sidebar stuff over here on the right, which is where kids get lost for days. All right, so I love being able to embed those videos from YouTube directly in here. All right, so you can embed all kinds of content though, YouTube videos, Vimeo, Soundtrap, Desmos calculators, Flipgrid, explain everything, Padlets, whatever, right? Anything that you can think of that has an embed code, you can dump into Book Creator. If it doesn't have an embed code, you can even take the link, put it in an embed box, and it makes it look a little bit cooler. Having this video box right here is way cooler than having just a really long link that looks like garbage, right? You don't want to put that in your book. Put something like this in your book. It's a lot better. Now, Mary did bring up the safe share step. Okay, so here's another thought. Somebody shared yesterday a website with me called saferyoutube.net, I think is what it was. If you take the YouTube video, put it into that website, this will help districts that may have YouTube blocked. All right, so safetytube.net, that might be one of them. I think the one I saw yesterday was safer YouTube. I don't remember. Anyway, but whatever, you can put your link in there and then create your own embed code and put that into your book. So if your school district blocks YouTube, then you can use this as well. All right, so I don't remember who told me this yesterday. You might be in the chat with me right now. So anyway, thank you if you did share that with me yesterday, because I think that's pretty cool. All right, the other thing that I wanted to share with you in terms of embedding, all right, is if I go to, let me think of a one that I can use. So if I go to like a Desmos calculator, all right, if I go to Desmos to embed something, I'm going to find a graph here. I'm going to open that graph. I'm going to get the share code here. Now, what's interesting about Desmos is if I click on the embed code link, what it does is it embeds a picture, which I don't want. But if I copy the link and put that into my embed box, watch what happens. It's pretty cool. I embed that, click confirm link. I see the title, and I click add to book. All right, and now when I click on this Desmos calculator, it's actually movable, right? I can manipulate this graph right from within my book, right? Which is super, super awesome. That's not the trick I wanted to show you though. The trick I wanted to show you is sometimes this link down here, this title, is something really funky, right? And something that like just really weird looking. If I click on the embedded document and then click inspector, watch this, I can actually turn off the thumbnail image if I don't want it, or turn it back on. And I can also change the title. So if I just change the title to parabolas, I can change it there. I can change the font of the title, and I can even change the color of the text inside that embedded document. And if there's a title here that's funky or you just don't want it, you can actually turn that off and it's just the image. All right, so there are some inspector ideas that go along with those embedded documents as well. Okay, awesome.
Hey, John, I'm going to cut you in real quick.
Yep.
There was a question about iPads in the chat. I just didn't want to miss it. They were asking about dragging and dropping a while ago. What about if students are using Book Creator with iPads? I assume the drag and drop doesn't work, that you still would have to save it to your camera roll.
So that's a good question.
Yeah.
I honestly don't have the answer to that off the top of my head. If you're talking about the iPad app specifically, then I would say yes, you probably will have to drag or save the image to the camera roll and then put it into Book Creator. If you're talking about using the online version on Safari on the iPad, I don't know. So I'll have to play around with that and check. I've never actually tried that, so I don't have a good answer for that. It's a great question though. I'm just not sure. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Where was I? All right. So that was the embedding, removing the content. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. The next tool that I want to share with you is under the plus button, media and pen. All right, so I think most of us have seen the pen tool at some point. For those of us that have not, if you click on the pen tool, you can choose different colors. Down here at the bottom, we have our magic ink, which is really awesome. As teachers or as students are drawing, the magic ink automatically changes color. Excuse me, got a hiccup. The color automatically changes, right, which is really cool. But what I wanted to show you here is if I'm just choose a regular color for a second, if you click on the pen, we have a marker, a brush, a crayon, a highlighter, fairly standard stuff. But the one that I really wanted to show you was auto. And so with auto draw, as I'm drawing, I'm going to try to draw a bike. I'm upset because my wheels look more like Angry Birds than they do bike tires. But as I'm drawing my bike, at the top, auto draw is trying to figure out what it is I'm drawing. Is it a castle? No. Is it a toilet? Not yet. It's a bike. I click on the bike, it fixes my drawing, and now I can click this X. I can go back to my magic ink, and then I can click the fill bucket, and now I can fill in my magic bike. Okay? That's really fun. Now I can drag it around, resize it, make it pop wheelies, which apparently only old people say nowadays. Somebody commented on that in one of my previous webinars. Nobody says pop wheelies anymore, but that's auto draw. All right, but the feature I really want to show you under the pen tool that I think teachers kind of dismiss or don't see is the smiley face. All right, and so this is the emojis. So we have all of the standard emojis minus the bad ones. All right, but what's really cool about the emojis is think about using emojis less like emojis and more like design elements. All right, so like if I search for couch, for example, I'm going to click on couch and it adds it to my page. Now, most of the time we think of emojis as these small things that happen at the end of texts or tweets or whatever. But if I take this emoji, make it really big, and then drag it down onto my page, now it's not an emoji, it's a design element. So maybe I'm doing a story and I want to have a couch, right? Like clip art in here, because again, these don't have backgrounds to them. All right, I can drag in a Bitmoji. All right, and make it even a little better, right? So now it's my own self, my character of myself inside the living room looking at the couch, right? So you can use the emojis as design elements, all right, which I think is really, really cool. All right, and I think that it will just enhance those stories. The pen tool itself can enhance the stories. The emojis can enhance the stories. It really just makes the design of your book that much cooler, right? And that much more fun, all right? The other thing I wanted to share with you under the pen tool, still with the emojis, is a story. I had a teacher email me and she said, you know what? She's like, John, my kids love making books in Book Creator. We're making books about ourselves, right? Little biographies, but the students are upset. And I said, why? And she said, because none of the emojis look like they do. And I was like, well, that's interesting, because on my phone, if I tap and hold on the emoji, eventually different skin choices will come up, right? Different skin tones. And so I was like, why do we not have that? And I got really mad and I yelled at our engineering team about it and said, how can we not have different skin tones in the emoji section? And we actually do. So if you hover over this hand up here to the top right and then click on it, you can choose the different skin tones. All right, so I choose a skin tone, and then as I scroll down, you'll notice that all of my emojis have changed. All right, so the skin tone is then the same for all of the emojis. And if you want, I can go back and change the skin tone to all these different ones. Doesn't matter, whichever one you choose, and then those can be added directly into your book. Now, again, I think what's really cool is that obviously we can change the skin tones, but for me, it's even cooler when we can add those Bitmojis into there, into your book, because then you can really, really customize, right? You can really customize your characters. So I definitely think that is a really important one. Okay. Catherine, I saw a question that looks like it needs to be answered.
Yes, it's regarding what is the main difference between the iPad app, my phone,
Yep.
the iPad app and the web version.
Gotcha. So the really big difference between the two is that the iPad app does not have real-time collaboration, teacher libraries. Students can't join teacher libraries right from within the app. There is no online image search built right into the app. So those are the main differences. The one thing that I think the app has over the online version is that the app can be used offline, right? So if I want to run outside and take pictures of things and make books sitting in my yard, I can do that. I cannot do that with the online version. So those are really the two main differences. The other differences I would say are more along the lines of like, you know, the admin side of things. You can get an admin console so you can look at statistics and analytics from a, you know, from a district perspective, but really functionally wise, they're fairly similar other than the few things that I just mentioned. Okay. All right.
Another question, John. How do you make a Bitmoji?
So to make a Bitmoji, there's a few steps here that you're going to have to do in order to do that, Jessica. On your phone, you're going to want to find the Bitmoji app, right? And I think it's also in Snapchat, maybe, I don't remember. I don't do Snapchat, so I'm not sure. But you're going to find the Bitmoji app, you're going to create an account, and you're going to design your Bitmoji. Then you're going to go to Chrome, and you're going to download the Bitmoji extension, and then you're going to sign in, and now you'll have your Bitmojis. All right?
That's where you can drag and drop them. And it's an app. You can get on the iPad or just on your phone.
Yep. Cool. And then another question is, Book Creator looking to support the collaboration and teacher dashboard soon on the iPad app? Nancy, I don't have a good answer for you on that one. So I couldn't really say. And then Christina's follow-up question is, how do students share books made on the iPad app? The easiest way for that is to airdrop the book to the teacher, so the teacher can view it on their iPad. So there's definitely some big differences. Now I will say the online version does work on the iPad if you just avoid the app altogether. It kind of changes the whole game a little bit. If your school's already purchased the app, I try not to force that, but if you haven't, I like the online version on the iPad that much better. All right. Okay, let's go into some other cool features here. All right, recording audio. All right, so I'm going to click on record audio, hit start, I'm going to record my audio here. Good morning, everybody. My name is John Smith. I'm going to hit stop, and I'm going to use that recording. And so now I've got a recording in the book. I think we've all done this or seen this at some point. Now I'm just going to add a photo of myself in here real quick. All right, We'll say use picture. That's an awful smile, good grief. All right, so we're gonna add that picture in here. And now I'm gonna take this audio button and I'm gonna put it right here on the corner of my image. So I'm gonna bring it to the front so you can see it. So I can add audio to an image, right? Just by putting a little audio button right next to it. But I wanna show you a really cool trick. So I'm gonna put this audio button on top of my image. And then I'm gonna click the inspector and I'm gonna click this button that says make invisible when reading. So I'm gonna click make invisible. I'm gonna change the size of that. And now when I click the play button to view my book online, I can click this button and watch what happens.
Good morning, everybody. My name is John Smith.
Right, so I created an invisible audio hotspot inside of a book. I have seen teachers use this to do to create talk boards for nonverbal students. I've seen teachers use it to do hidden little audio things, right? Little messages or secret tips and tricks to pass a test or things like that inside of books. There's so many things you can do by hiding the audio button. All right, so definitely want you to check out that. All right. Next, let's get into comics. All right, because we're quickly running out of time here. Let's get into comics. So with comics, there are some, Dorothy says, how do students, readers know how to click or know to click? So when I do this with my students, I just tell them, hey, if you see an image, click on it because you never know, right? It gets them kind of exploring the text a little bit more and exploring those images. Yeah, you could definitely, Nancy, make a quiz that has the audio with the correct answer. Absolutely. All right, next, comics. So with comics, I'm gonna go to comic panels here. I'm just gonna make, choose a style. All right, now with comic panels, there's a couple of things. Don't click the plus button, media, import, and add an image on top of the panel. It's gonna look funky. Click inside the panel. Choose the image options to the left, Google, Files, or Drive. So we'll put in a dog, and we'll go with this guy here. Hit select, and then that image will be added directly inside the panel. All right, which is really cool. One of the things that people don't necessarily know about is if you right-click or two-finger click on a panel, one of the options is to cut, copy, move front, move back, or unlock. I'm gonna cut this one, and then I'm gonna take this panel, and I'm gonna unlock it. So one of the things that we get, a feature request that we get a lot is being able to crop photos. All right, and we can't do that. We don't have a crop feature, or do we? So what I'm gonna do is after I two-finger clicked and said unlock the photo, now when I click on the photo, I can drag these little blue dots up and down. All right, then I click the little arrow and I move the photo up to be exactly the way I want. And essentially what I just did is used a comic panel to crop a photo. All right, which is really cool and kind of handy. All right, now it might not be the easiest, but it is pretty cool. All right, and I see somebody said they found it by accident, right? It's a cool tip, right? A cool little trick to play with. Now, other things that are cool about this, when I click outside the image, I have this little black line around it. Some people are like, nah, I don't really want that there. Well, if you click the image and then click the inspector, check it out. I can choose the border. So if I click the border, I can choose the border color and width. So if I wanted to, I could change this border of the comic panel to red, all right, which is pretty cool. And I can choose the width, or I can turn that border off. And now it does look like a cropped image, right? And so then there you go. So there's your quick, easy tip for cropping an image. All right, now I'm gonna show you another cool thing that I just found or kind of played around with the other day. Again, I'm gonna go with an image inside the comic panel here. I'm just gonna take a picture. We'll add that in, use that picture. So I'm always looking at different ways that we can make, books visual, kind of, stretch the imagination, change things up a bit. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to unlock my panel, just like I've done before. And I'm going to kind of just do that. All right, and then I'm done. And then some of you are kind of like, well, that's really odd. Well, watch what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna copy and paste that same panel, but this time I'm gonna click and I'm gonna drag things over until the images line up. Then I'm gonna paste it again, and I'm gonna drag it over until the images line up. And so what I'm doing now is I'm just taking an image, repeating it over and over again, and just playing around with it so that it looks a little bit different, right? And we're having a little bit of fun with it. And so again, visually, it's just something different. Instead of the traditional comic panel, I'm just gonna have some fun moving things over, right? Having a, try to make something special out of it. So I'm just turning a comic panel into like a funky kind of frame, right, for those images. All right, so again, I'm just gonna keep playing around with it until I get done. Now, I'm not gonna do the whole thing, right, because that would drive everybody crazy. But then when I hit like a comic background, now you can see, right, really chopping it up, having some fun with it, visually something just a little bit different. All right, yeah, broken mirror. Ooh, I like that word for it. I didn't know what that was called. So I like the idea of the broken mirror. Now, some of you might already be thinking ahead beyond just a broken mirror. What if I created a book that was a template for my students, and I want them to create something using an activity? Well, guess what? I can take all of these, shove them over here off to the side, and now when students come back, these are all jumbled up, and basically what I just created was a puzzle. All right, and so you can create a puzzle using bits and pieces of Book Creator. All right, so there is a puzzle. All right, so I'm putting together my outfit, myself, and there we go. And now I created a puzzle. All right, so hopefully that was kind of fun. Yep, a puzzle book. Lisa K. Brown says very cool. All right, so there you go. There are some cool little tips and tricks for playing with the puzzle. Another one, and this one may sound, this may be a little goofy, but a lot of times we don't really think about this. If I go to create a comic panel, a lot of times I'll get teachers asking me, how do I put a video inside a panel? And there's some long technical engineering discussion as to why you can't do that. I don't know why we can't do that. But what I do know is if I two-finger click and cut out that panel, I can then go to my media, to my camera, and record a video. Gives you a little countdown. Hey everybody, I just made a video panel. Hit use, and now that video can be added to my page. I can resize it. I can drag it down a little bit, make it fit as good as I can, but then maybe fill some of that empty space with some text. So then I can take the text, I can rotate it, and then I can put this down here like this. And now I basically created a panel that has a video in it, even though it's not really, right? So I just kind of cheated a little bit. But anyway, really cool. Yeah, great for a cool getting to know you project. Yeah, introducing a mystery puzzle, prefixes and suffixes. Yeah, these are the great ideas, right? Mystery puzzle will be so fun. All right, excellent. So yes, great ideas coming in here. Okay, so those are some of the options with the comic panels. Now the last one that I want to show before we answer any more questions or listen to some cool ideas that you guys are having in your heads. One of my favorite examples is actually from a second grader. I had a second grader come to me and say, Mr. Smith, I want 2 different backgrounds on the same page. And I was confused. And he goes to the inspector and he goes, look, I can put a blue background on there. I can put a yellow background on there. I can put a red background or a green background, but I can't do a red and green background or a blue and yellow background. And I was sitting there thinking like, okay, no, you can't, right? Well, this student figured it out. So I'm going to share with you what this second grader figured out. Put on a blue background, and then the student screenshot half of the page. Well, my fractions are a little off. screenshot half of the page, change the background to yellow, and then drag the screenshot onto the page. And now we've got two different colored backgrounds on the same page. And you can see it kind of lines up perfectly. And so that student was thrilled to bits, right? Because he was able to do two different backgrounds. All right, so I think that's really cool. I think what I think is even cooler about it is that a second grader figured it out before I could, right? So I thought that was really awesome. All right, so yes, Lisa, I can show the screenshot again. So for me, I'm on a Mac right now. For me, the screenshot is Command-Shift-4. So I just took a, whoops, I missed, I clicked the wrong button. Took a screenshot of half of a background, and then I just changed the background to a different color, and then dragged that screenshot that I just took onto the page as an image, and then just covered up half the background. Right, covered up, resized it, made it fit perfectly, dragged it over, and now I've got a half and half background. All right. The last thing I want to show you, I lied. I said that was it. I got one more. A lot of times when I click on something and hit the inspector will kind of cover up part of the page, and that annoys people. All right. Well, right here to the right, there's a little pin. And for a lot of people, we have no idea what this means, me included. Click on the pin, and guess what it does? It pins the inspector off to the side. So I can continue working on my book, and everything that I click on, right? Anything I click on, the inspector automatically changes to match whatever it is that you click on. So if I click on the text, the inspector changes to text options. Click on a video, the inspector changes to video options. No matter where I go in this book, no matter what I click on, the inspector changes to fit that. All right, so I think that's really, really cool. And I think it's just a great way to kind of keep the inspector right there and not cover up part of your book and do that kind of stuff. Okay, awesome. That's it in terms of like hidden little features, secret tips and tricks that I think that might be interesting for you. So Catherine, what do we got? It looks like we might have some questions in there.
Yeah, there is one about templates. I highly encourage attending another one of our webinars about continuous learning. We really dive into templates on that one. I just don't know if we'd be able to touch upon it fully in just a few minutes.
Yeah, basically we could show you how to do this in one of our other webinars, but the basic idea is you create a book that is empty or has questions in it that need answered, and then your students, when they join your library, they make a copy of that book, and then they can edit the copy. And again, yeah, like Catherine said, we can't really cover that in about 4 minutes, but that's the basic idea. All right, any other things that I'm missing out on? See some stuff about.
Are you putting this book? Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send all this information to IDEA, and then they're going to forward this out with some additional resources too as well. So you'll have this book and then the recording too.
Yep. All right. Is there a way to get umlauts in the book, like for German? So we do have a speech-to-text feature, and that speech-to-text feature does allow speaking in 120 different languages. I don't speak German, but I'm assuming that when I speak Spanish, all of the little punctuation marks show up the right way. So I would assume that it would do the same for German as well. All right. Well, that's it for me. Jenna?
Awesome. Thank you so much, John and Catherine. That was phenomenal. I am going to hit enter in the chat window right now. And coming through right now is your link for today's PDH. So again, if you're looking for credit for today's session, please go ahead and click that link and fill out the quick Google form. And like I said, we'll send you the certificate of completion for that. Wednesday webinars, we talked about those earlier, but once again, if you are looking for additional webinars, especially on Book Creator, besides their own webinars, we have done webinars with Book Creator previously. Some of them were the more beginning aspects of Book Creator. So go back, look at that Wednesday webinar page, and you can watch any of those webinars and hopefully get all the information you need. If not, I know that Catherine has also linked into the chat window those resource pages for educators to learn how to use the various features. So again, this chat will be coming. I will make sure that everything that has a link is actually linked in the PDF that you get of the chat, so that you can just click on all those links and go right there. So that will be coming with the recording. The last link that I sent out was for our idea calendar. So we do Wednesday webinars just about every Wednesday. And so you can always look to that idea calendar for our webinar schedule, as well as anything else, quite honestly, that we are doing. So definitely tab that, bookmark that on your computer so that you can continually go back to that and see what new things are happening there. So without further ado, John, Catherine, thank you so much. We see lots of things coming through. So you guys always do such great sessions, and we learn so much. I learned a ton today. Those were some fantastic tips. And so I definitely think people who go back and review this will get some amazing information. And so thank you very much.
Yeah.
And Catherine, if you could send me the link to that book, then I can add that into tomorrow's email. Although, quite honestly, I think everybody's going to need the video to go along with that book, because it was really a show and tell today.
Yep, for sure.
So.
And I did see a couple questions in there about will webinars continue throughout the school year. I can't speak for IDEA, but I'm sure that there are webinars throughout the school year. And I know for book creators as well, we're going to continue those, and hopefully we can partner with IDEA again and do some more of these as the school year goes along. So
yes, and IDEA, we do webinars throughout the school year. We just obviously change the time. So they'll end up being after school. Usually we do them about 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, so that people who get out at 2:30 can make it, but people who don't get out of school till 3:30 can make it. And so we usually do them a little bit later. So as probably in the next 2-3 weeks, we'll end up switching those times up as well. So awesome. Thank you. Awesome. So thank you so much, everybody. You guys are welcome. Somebody's asking for the PDH link again, so I'm just going to throw that in one more time for everybody in case you guys missed it.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
There you go. So thank you so much. You guys have a good day, and everybody who attended, thanks for being here. We'll see you guys soon.
yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Be safe out there. Happy bookmaking.
Bye now.